So right off the bat, I just want to apologize for the terrible lighting in my room right now and whatever the fuck it is that my hair is doing. I don't know. But like I said in the first video, we have no funding here, so you get what you get, right? Anyways, today I want to talk to you guys about the Frito Lay Strike going on in Topeka, Kansas. Basically, workers there are going on strike and protesting what they call, quote, suicide shifts. And they're not exaggerating that. That is literally what they are. So we're going to take a look at a YouTube video by More Perfect Union. They went to Topeka and just talked to workers on the ground and got a feel for what was really going on. Great reporting. But anyways, let's get into it, and then I'll come back and give you guys my initial thoughts.
How are you shocked? Did you think that we would go to 90 hours before we would hit the streets? Forced overtime causes divorces. It caused people to kill themselves that used to work here. Okay, there have been several employees that have killed themselves, okay, that have worked here over the years. Okay, this is a continual thing. It destroys marriages, it destroys families.
We have to do something with the suicide shifts, because to work 12 hours and be off 8 and work 12 hours, you got time, travel time and everything. I said that's a safety risk.
Imagine being an employee in here that has not had a day off for 5 months. That is the reality of what you're seeing. That is the reality of why you're really seeing the picket over here.
4 or 5 years ago, we had a guy, and man, he was working all the time, and he stopped off at a rest stop on I-70, and he fell asleep, and you know, he didn't wake up.
Company wants to call it a squeeze shift. It's nothing squeezing about it. It's suicide.
Yeah, the point system is used to fire people.
We're getting penalized for taking time off.
I've had to cancel so many doctor appointments, dentist appointments that I could not make them because of the forced overtime. Walking out the plant last second, hey, you're forced over. Things need to change. This is not a way you treat people.
My daughter made my sign, and the boot represents Frito Lay, and under the boots is the people standing, which is us, the workers, the union. We can stop the boot. With the help of the community, with all the people in the union, yeah, we can do it. We can stop the boot.
We are seeing the impact of our unity now. There's no chips in the stores. They can barely get things up and running. But we now see our unity. We now see where our strength is. And I'm sure once we get to go back in there, which we will get to go back in there, we'll be stronger than before.
Wow, like it just leaves you speechless. Every time that I've watched that clip so far, I have to really try to refrain from crying, because it's just so upsetting to see workers mistreated like that. Working people deserve respect, and obviously they're not being shown it. But like they said in the video, guys, 12-hour days, 7 days a week, 5 months straight. That is unacceptable. This is supposed to be America, the greatest country on earth, right? The greatest country on earth, but we don't have sufficient labor laws? I don't know, that makes zero sense to me. People should be able to enjoy a weekend with their family without worrying about, having enough points, or worrying that they'll be fired for taking a weekend to enjoy life for once. But that's what's going on at the Frito Lay plant. I think it was 31 points that they had to accumulate for 1 day off. What is this, fucking kindergarten? Jesus. They go into this. This was an issue that really struck me as someone who struggled with mental health in the past. A number of workers at the plant actually killed themselves, and that's why it's suicide shifts, because literally people there are committing suicide. Overworked, exhausted, pulled away from their loved ones. What does Frito Lay expect? And it's not like they even have time to seek out mental health treatment. There was that one lady in there talking about how she couldn't get to the doctor because she was working forced overtime. Just, it makes you so mad just thinking about that. Like, how the fuck is someone supposed to take care of themselves, let alone take care of their mental health, which is something that even people who have free time are lacking on, if they can't get away from work? Jesus. This extreme profit-driven selfishness puts money before human lives. And yet people still have the audacity, like I said before, to call America the greatest country on earth. We can't even protect our people. Call it what it is, guys. This is a sweatshop. This is modern day slavery. This is wage slavery. I mean, you're selling yourself, you're selling your soul just to make ends meet at this point. And don't give me that bullshit argument that libertarians make. It's like, oh, but it's voluntary. Bullshit. Bullshit. I'll give you guys a little personal example. In my town, it's Honda. The Honda plant is the only well-paying job in the town that I live in, and one of the very few companies that pays a living wage. And by the way, just barely a living wage. They're starting workers there at $15, $16, $17 an hour, and they have to work for, I think, 3 or 4 years before they get a raise. Wild. But these corporations know this, and they know that people have nowhere else to go, so they treat them like dog shit and expect them to put out everything they have into this company, and they exploit them as much as the law allows them to the very furthest extent that America's labor laws allow them to exploit them, they will. And that this is just an example of that. Now, this is why we need much stronger laws on this issue, guys. Like I said, people deserve paid time off. At least a 2-day weekend needs to be enforced on a national scale. At least a 2-day weekend. Personally, I think we should switch to a 4-day work week. And, we're at a point in this country where automation is taking over, and we don't even need people we don't even need that many people working that much at this point. So they're just forcing us to be cogs in the machine to, I don't know. I don't know. But besides the point, because workers have their faces spit in for years, and they're afraid of, being fired if they step up and say something. But when they finally do, have enough, and they come out and finally stand up and say enough is enough, these big corporations pick up and move their plants overseas, where, the working class is even more easily exploited. You got countries in Asia, South America, where they have even more lax labor laws, and these corporations, we've seen it before, outsourcing, these corporations just pick up and leave. Like, fuck you, I'm going. We need laws that will financially penalize outsourcing, and we need laws that will, create a better workplace and protect our workers. Because without that, guys, we're driving ourselves right into the ground. The vast majority of people are unhappy and underpaid, while, the 1% sits at the top with their fat bellies and laughs at the rest of us for going to work every fucking day. So, yeah, it's a scary time, and it's a disgusting situation that's going on in Topeka, Kansas, all around the United States, honestly. But yeah, guys, I'm not a huge supporter generally of independent or individuals boycotting certain products, because it doesn't really do much on a large scale unless you can, you know, form some sort of organized boycott or resistance. But personally, I'm not going to be buying any more Frito Lay products. No, you're not getting my money. And I encourage all my viewers to do the same. There's plenty of other good chips out there that, you know, I don't know about every individual chip company, but I'm sure that at least one of them doesn't make their workers work suicide shifts. So again, I encourage all my viewers to not buy Frito Lay products and stand in solidarity with the workers in Topeka, Kansas, because we're all in this together. And it's not going to take an individual. It's going to take us as a collective to say fuck you to the establishment and the big corporations and the rich assholes at the top.